midfield for slow down the Hoos in attack.
Notre Dame at 7-2-3 on the year. Virginia at 7-1-2. The Hoos with their only defeat this season on the road to George Mason. Off we go from Klockner Stadium. Virginia in the navy and Notre Dame in the green and gold. Patty, what's going to get your eye here early in this match?
Well, I think one thing to look at is how deep or how aggressive is George Galnavach with his press. Are they able to press Notre Dame deep in their own half? This is a Notre Dame team that loves to knock the ball around. They're very organized, and they will pick and choose their times to go forward. So if you're George Galnavach, can you impose a high press, pick off Notre Dame in their own defensive third, and see if you can create some chances that way?
Back three for Virginia takes care of this. Sebastian Pop blasting it towards midfield. That back three for the Hoos of Pop, Zachary Ehrenpreis, and Nick Dang, very consistent since Dang's emergence from injury early in the year.
Well, consistent indeed, and as good as they are on the defensive side of the ball, and they're very good. They've been equally impressive on the offensive side of the ball. All three of those center backs are so capable with the ball at their feet in picking out players, playing opponents out of the game, and really dynamic on the passing side.
See Pop there, the graduate student coming in from Norway, 23 years old, arriving to the United States, first year of collegiate soccer. Dang goes airborne, wins a strong header there. Second-year Who coming over from Lipscomb. And a draft pick of Real Salt Lake in the second round this past offseason. Elected to stay in college. There's Casper Moles sending one a long ways. Second game back for Moles, coming out of concussion protocol, and he stood up pretty well in the win over NC State on the road in Raleigh back on Sunday.
Well, he was very impressive against NC State, made a number of point-blank saves to maintain a clean sheet on the road there in Raleigh, as you note. He's been fantastic, though, throughout the year, coming over from Kentucky, the former first-team All-American for the Wildcats. He's really settled in and has been a calming force in between the pipes for this Cavalier team.
And Caleb Tunk's got a couple of starts for UVA, victories over North Carolina and Milwaukee here at Klockner. And now going up against Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish just finishing up a 7-game homestand as this one is sent from a distant away, and it nearly went in for De Vicente, oohing and eyeing the crowd.
But I'll tell you what, this is a really, really good look from Jesus De Vicente. He picks his head up. He knows exactly what he wants to do, and he has Blake Kelly beaten. Just missed by a couple feet there on the right-hand side, but if that one's on frame, it's in the back of the net.
Well, De Vicente scored in the opener for UVA against San Diego State. That feels like a long time ago. Temperature has changed a lot. 90 degrees as we started the season, and we have the cool, crisp autumn air here at Klockner Stadium tonight. That left wing back spot for Virginia has been manned down by De Vicente. The entirety of this season, the right wing back spot has changed a little bit. We've seen Noah Hall in that spot. Reese Miller coming back from injury has gotten some opportunity. Tonight they go with Alex Parvu for the second straight match. A guy who's a little bit more sturdy, good size at 6'2", and a pretty good defender out there.
Well, that's right, and he brings physicality to that spot and a little bit of a different look than Reese Miller. You will likely see Reese Miller for long periods of this game, but they bring different things to the game, and certainly Parvu, the more physical of the two.
Marco Dos Santos trying to maneuver around Nolan Spicer on that far side. Gets it to Albin Gashi, the veteran midfielder. Towards Otto Smith, AJ Smith, as he's also known. Big guy up front alongside Nick Simmons. The Cavaliers, they are a very tall team and a very physical team. Here's Parvu. Near the byline, tries to manipulate his way through. Alex Rosine. This ends up being a goal kick for Notre Dame. George Galnavach, 3 decades as the Cavaliers head coach. He has talked about how this year's squad is hungry to make a lasting impact on Virginia Cavaliers soccer. And right now inside the top 10, they are poised to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament.
Well, a deep run indeed, and they've shown that they can play with and beat anyone in the country. Just lights out across the board, with the exception of the one slip up on the road at Mason. They've really been the better of the two teams every time that they've lined up. And so this is a team, as you know, very physical, very athletic, but also can win games in a number of different ways. We saw against a very good Wake Forest team come into Klockner Stadium, and this team put up 6. They can go on the road to a previously unbeaten NC State team and grind out a shutout, a 1-0 win on the road. And so those are the kind of signs that you want to see from a team to know that they are capable of playing championship soccer late in November and early December.
Yeah, the Hoos are 3-0-1 against top 10 opponents this season. The win over then #1 Wake, #6 Louisville, #2 NC State this past Sunday. The tie to Virginia Tech. De Vicente, too strong of a pass that time for Pella making the run. A Notre Dame throw here with Wyatt Lewis, one of their 2 captains. Spicer moving in towards the interior of the field, and David Erbacher, our center referee tonight, makes the call. Free kick for the Irish. Patty, for Notre Dame, they are a very dangerous team off set pieces, something we'll be paying attention to tonight.
Well, they are. They're a team that scored 11 goals off set pieces. You see a little bit of botch clearance there.
Here's Simmons. He wants to check back in. Go ahead, Patty.
Well, that's right, and Nick Simmons so comfortable with the ball at his feet. But just to finish that point on the set pieces, in particular corner kicks, and we talk about Nolan Spicer and what he brings to the run of play, but on the set pieces, he is so capable of whipping a dangerous ball into the box that something to watch here. We've noted, though, Virginia starting 7 players, 6'2" and over. Notre Dame a little bit undersized, and yet they are so quality when they find those set piece opportunities.
Lifted diagonally in the direction of De Vicente, and there is Blake Kelly to haul it in for Notre Dame. Kelly making start number 25 of his collegiate career, 12 as a freshman last year, and now 13 as a sophomore. There's a couple of shutouts in ACC play this year against Pitt and Louisville. Dang intercepts. Sweeps it back to Zachary Aaron Price, the true freshman. Only played 45 minutes against NC State. Long ball forward for Nick Simmons. 5 goals this season for the stud freshman. Local product from Midlothian. Uses the back heel. Dos Santos, a delicious ball inside the 6 that Notre Dame takes care of with Mitch Ferguson. Cavaliers love to go short and quick on corners. They do so here. De Vicente on the drop off. Gashi. Time and space for Parvu. Returns it to De Vicente. And now Dos Santos, 7 assists this season as he clips it in towards the back post. Headed down. Notre Dame clears. Chance not over here for the Hoos. Pop into space. Gashi elevates it towards the back post. Dang nods it down, and Smith too high.
Well, it's a golden chance in the end for A.J. Smith, but a really good sequence of play for Virginia, showing a lot of composure in and around the box. This is a good ball clipped in there from Gashi, and a great header down there from Nick Dang. He knows exactly what he's doing, nods it into a really dangerous position. And if you're A.J. Smith from 8 yards out, you got to put this one on frame. You got to get your chest over the ball, and you got to put the Hoos up 1-0.
Now Smith with a goal and an assist in his last home match for UVA against Milwaukee last week. And a guy who they are trying to get going here. They want him to be a nasty guy in front of the net. Take advantage of those opportunities. Have that kind of mean personality. And he is a difference maker. We saw him score a couple of great postseason goals for UVA last year in his first year coming over from Tyler Junior College. Just about 9 minutes in. Thanks for sitting in with us on this Friday evening. Patty Foss, Corey Spector. Virginia and Notre Dame meeting for the 22nd time. Virginia leads the series, 9 wins, 8 losses and 4 ties, but the Irish have won the last 3. Notre Dame's most recent win over UVA 2 years ago in South Bend, 3-1. Luke Burton in a battle here with Aaron Price, and the Virginia freshman wins it. Virginia so good at using the width of the field. That's something Chad Riley, the Notre Dame head coach, talked with us this week about, making sure that Virginia can't use this great field at Klockner to their advantage.
Well, it's really interesting. You make that note about Chad Riley, and he was talking to us about the pitch at Klockner Stadium, and You note the seasons, the series between these two historic programs, and the pitches themselves really could not be more different. Klockner is a very fast field. The surface is cut low. It's got that Bermuda rye mix, and Virginia loves to stretch the field and play quick. When you head to Alumni Stadium in South Bend, it's a thicker grass, and it plays a lot slower. So it's something to watch here, especially early on in this game. Can Virginia speed the game up and go at Notre Dame as they acclimate to what is a tough place to play?
You played in 8 of these meetings between Virginia and Notre Dame. Did you feel that difference a lot, depending on the venue?
I'll tell you what I felt, and that's when you go to Notre Dame in the postseason and it's December, you can't really feel much of anything. So yeah, it's certainly a tough place to play, and yeah, it is a totally different atmosphere and a totally different surface.
Wide spot here for Wyatt Lewis. Now Spicer. Up front for Burton. KK Baffour, who scored a goal here at Klockner Stadium a few years ago. It was a buzzer-beating goal with about 3 seconds to go to take down the Hoos 2-1. Baffour dons the number 10 jersey in the green for the Irish. Gashi gets repelled that time from Ian Shaw, sophomore center mid for the Irish. And a throw in for the Hoos. Pop nods it down, and the assistant referee has the flag up, so this will be a free kick for Virginia. Women's sports take over the afternoon every Sunday on ACC Network. This week we start at noon Eastern with a top 20 field hockey matchup. Number 3 North Carolina hosting number 19 Louisville. Then we'll have a top 20 volleyball matchup between 10th ranked SMU, 18th ranked Miami. We'll cap the afternoon with a soccer match. Number 2 Notre Dame hosting SMU. All 3 also available on the all-new ESPN app. Notre Dame in this back 4 with Ferguson and Diego Ochoa as the 2 center backs, the graduate student from Alexandria. Nice homecoming for Ochoa. This will come down for a Notre Dame free kick. There you go for Notre Dame. They have cashed in a lot off set pieces, and we were speaking with associate head coach Adam Perrin on the Virginia side this week. And he said Notre Dame always seems to have something up their sleeve, something new when they face up against Virginia, whether it's a pick play or just something to throw Virginia off when it comes to set pieces.
Well, this is a really dangerous spot for a set piece. You're going to want to whip this one towards the back post, see if you can get it to skip in there if you're KK Baffour, but as you know, Notre Dame is so quality, and they are so dynamic off these set pieces. So watch for a very dangerous ball in here.
And lock your eyes on number 2, Mitch Ferguson. Their center back has 4 goals this season. That's towards the net of Casper Moles, and he punches it authoritatively towards midfield, and the counter is on now for the Hoos. Simmons makes the run. Dos Santos gets tackled off the ball by Alex Rosine, the true freshman. Excellent work there. Rosine is in the spot of Sebastian Green. Now, Green came back in the match against Green Bay, played 14 minutes off the bench against the Phoenix back on Tuesday night. But Rosine has filled in very nicely, according to Coach Riley. Baffour licking up here with Wyatt Lewis. On an island with De Vicente, Jesus does nicely. It should stay with the Irish. And it does. Our assistant referees tonight, Rick Rogers, Anthony Wolford, our 4th official, David McFew. All right, Patty, as we near the quarter-hour mark of this match, what have you made of the first 15 or so minutes?
Well, I think Notre Dame has settled here in the last 5, but it was a really good start from Virginia in that opening 10 minutes, and they've looked very good when they can get on possession and pivot the game side to side. Of course, creating that golden chance that A.J. Smith just put high, but I like where Virginia's at with the ball at their feet, keeping Notre Dame in front. But if you're Chad Riley, you have to be pleased with getting to the 15-minute mark and this game still being 0-0.
And Notre Dame at times has struggled defensively. They've given up some goals to opponents that maybe they shouldn't have, but they've found ways to win or get results. 7-2-3, certainly not a shabby record at all. 2-1-1 in the ACC. Elevated towards Moles and off the bounce. Casper takes control. Graduate student from Denmark at 6'4". Moles makes his 54th collegiate start this evening. Aaron Price knocks it towards midfield off the bottom of the boot of Schrader. Virginia collects. Dos Santos, who was playing as a number 10 tonight for the second straight match. We've seen him play as part of their dual 9 setup up front, but dropping in behind the two forwards tonight. How does that play into what Dos Santos tries to do, Patty?
Well, that was the spot that George Galinovac said that when Dos Santos entered the transfer portal, that's where he saw playing Dos Santos. Now, for the first 9 games of this year, he played alongside Nick Simmons and really was creative in setting up the freshman for a number of these goals. You see a good build here.
Rosine, that's a good ball inside the 6. This will end up in Virginia possession.
Just to finish that point on Dos Santos, to your question, I don't think it actually does change a ton. What it does, though, is it adds another big body alongside Nick Simmons for someone to play into for Marco Dos Santos. He's still going to get in a lot of the same pockets of space in between that back line and midfield line of Notre Dame. He's still going to have that same creativity, just deployed a little bit deeper and able to play alongside the 2 big men up front.
Transfer from Boston College, currently in a 4-way tie for first in the ACC in assists with Nolan Spicer of Notre Dame, Ransford John of Clemson, Nacho Abial of North Carolina. Guy who they really coveted out of the portal, coming in from Boston College. Numbers weren't fantastic with the Eagles, but it was a BC program that slumped in recent years. They remember Dos Santos showing up to Virginia camp in high school. He was 5'7" and 100 pounds soaking wet. A little bit more built now. As Notre Dame makes the interception, gives it right back. Pella trying to twist off of Spicer, and Pella does. Still no Brendan Lamb for Virginia. Lamb missing his 8th consecutive match. He left the George Mason match back in late August with a toe injury. They were hopeful initially that he would be back by now, but they have kind of pushed his arrival time to the pitch. Maybe a couple of weeks. They get back to ACC play in a couple of weeks against Clemson. Part of that veteran midfield, Lamb, with Roberto Pella and Albin Gashi, a really key cog as a veteran of this program, Lamb. Another long ball from Aaron Price. Ferguson just launches it towards midfield. De Vicente tried to bring that one down, and a handball is called against Notre Dame Spicer. Patty, Lamb could really unlock even more for Virginia moving forward once he returns.
Well, it's sort of an interesting, thought experiment, because if Lamb's back, well, where are you going to put him? And that's kind of going to be the decision for George Galinovac. Certainly, you could push Dos Santos back alongside Simmons in the starting lineup and enter Lamb in the midfield, push Gashia a little bit higher. But to your point about not rushing him back, there's really no reason to, because the midfield 3 has been so good, and Dos Santos certainly can slot right in there. So give him a few more weeks, make sure that he's 100% and getting ready to make a deep postseason run, ideally, for George Galinovac.
They've also had good contributions from other guys, including Akari Tanjagora coming off the bench. Scored his first collegiate goal against Wake Forest. A lot of athleticism to his play. We'll see him tonight as well. Lewis to take the throw here for Notre Dame. De Vicente in a battle here with Burton. Free kick for the Hoops. Now, Notre Dame's most recent match in the ACC a week ago against Virginia Tech, a 1-1 draw against the Hokies. Virginia Tech had 57% of the possession in that match. Notre Dame, though, scored the first goal. Borso. Hokies equalized. Inside the box, on a platter! A.J. Smith! Right where it needed to be. 1-0 Hoos.
Well, we've talked about Virginia and how good they've been in pivoting play and playing through possession. This is an absurd first touch from the freshman, Nick Simmons, and an even better slot in behind. Parvu does the rest with a good ball across, and then A.J. Smith on the doorstep makes no mistake to put the Hoos up 1-0. That is a world-class team goal, a fantastic build, and a quality finish in the end.
Patty, I go back to the comments from Chad Riley this week. We cannot allow Virginia to use the width of the field, and that's exactly what happened on that goal.
I'll tell you what, though, Nick Simmons, the freshman, the guy is 6'4", built. He's dropping into space, and he's got just the softest feet you will find. I mean, that is a silly setup to play Parvu in behind. A great ball from Parvu and a good finish in the end. But that one starts with Nick Simmons in midfield, and it's a really good team goal from Virginia.
And even a guy like Alex Parvu, right? We talked about it off the top. He is really impressed with his defensive work as sort of a sturdy built defender. But for Parvu, that's assist number 5 of the year.
Well, and his fitness is really impressive because he bombs up and down the pitch, and he can go for 90 minutes if George Ganovich chooses to deploy him for that. And as you know, he gets into that space after a 70-yard run. It's not an easy thing to put that one in a perfect spot for A.J. Smith. So, yeah, it's a tremendous assist there from Alex Parvu.
We have seen Virginia manufacture goals like that so spectacularly throughout the year. I mean, it really kind of started on opening night against San Diego State. They had a beautiful goal in that match. Really good one against Stetson as well. As Patty mentioned towards the beginning of our show this evening, Virginia can just beat you in so many ways.
When Virginia is clicking, there is not a better team in the country. I feel very confident in saying that. And they're capable, as you know, beating you in so many different ways as you get another ball into the box here.
That glances off the noggin of Smith. AJ thinking about his first brace as a Who. Here's our Week 7 ACC Network Saturday football lineup. Noon Eastern, we'll have a Command Center presentation of Pitt and number 25 Florida State with 4 different camera angles and real-time player and team stats. Then 13th ranked Georgia Tech hosts Virginia Tech. We'll cap the night with Clemson and BC at 7:30 Eastern. All 3 games also available on the new ESPN app. You can watch it anywhere. Patty, you taking advantage of that new ESPN app? It's pretty good, right?
I'm a huge ESPN app guy. The new app, it pops up, my favorite teams right on my front page of my phone. I mean, it's quality stuff.
Beautiful. All right, now for Notre Dame, down by a goal. How does that kind of change the calculus for the Irish here?
I'm not sure it'll change a ton, especially here just in the first half. Notre Dame's a team that, as we've noted, is very organized, and they're going to try to make it tough to get in behind. They'll pick and choose their times to go forward, and you have to believe Chad Riley's men are confident that they'll have chances. You just have to be patient.
Marco Dos Santos bolting towards the 18. Plays it off there for De Vicente. Back to Dos Santos towards the back post, and Smith was waiting for it. Virginia, though, will get a corner kick out of this.
You know, the bigger thing for Notre Dame, though, is Virginia is stretching that extremely wide, getting overloads in wide spaces. Here you see, again, Jesus De Vicente getting to that byline, setting up Dos Santos, just a little bit of a deflection for the corner kick. But Virginia is doing such a good job stretching the game and exposing Notre Dame in wide areas in the last 10 minutes.
Irish have now conceded 13 times this year. They gave up 2 on Tuesday to Green Bay. And Virginia striking early in this one, looking to duplicate that here off a set piece. Again, they go short. Gashi receives it back, loops it in, back post, dangerous ball. Simmons and out Smith, another one that pops high. Oh my goodness, he could have a hat trick at this point.
Well, he's certainly good, and the big center forward is getting in a really good spot. That's another one that he sort of snatches at, can't quite put on frame. But Virginia, again, off the set piece, putting the ball in very interesting spots. Gashi there, a good one to the back post. Simmons does well to find the initial header, but if you're A.J. Smith, you got to get over that one, and you got to at least put it on frame, make Blake Kelly make a save.
Patty, Virginia's got two 6'4" monsters up front in Smith and Simmons. I have to imagine that takes so much out of your two center backs to stop those two guys.
Well, through the run of play, sure, but I mean, when you get Virginia on a set piece, you're going to enter a couple more 6'4" guys, and Aaron Price, Sebastian Pop, not to mention Nick Dang, who's so quality in the air. So it just becomes a numbers game. You know, when you're prepping for this Virginia team, everyone's going to have an assigned marker, and for Notre Dame, almost everyone is going to be outmatched, at least from a height perspective. And so it takes a lot, both mentally and physically, to keep Virginia off the board through the set piece.
There's one of those big guys, and Pop heading it away. And I think normally people think like, okay, tall team, that takes away from their athleticism a little bit. No, these guys are tall, but also athletic.
Yeah, they are. And by the way, very technical. I mean, you look at those center backs, and Aaron Price, Pop, and Dang, they're all very capable with the ball at their feet. You look up top, guys like Nick Simmons and what he's shown you with the technical ability and the first touch that set up that first goal, and it becomes a little bit of a scary thing to play against.
Virginia moving up from number 16 to number 8 because of their victory over NC State back on Sunday. Virginia played a man up for most of that match after a red card was given out to Tyler Caton in the 8th minute on a high boot to Albin Gashi. Not much of a decision for the referee in that match, so Virginia enjoyed the manpower advantage through most of it. And yes, the Hoos escaped with a victory, but they just look a lot more intense, crisp tonight than maybe they did, even with a really good win over NC State, one that Adam Perrin said they should be feeling a sense of pride for getting back with 3 points on the road.
Well, that's a really tough place to play, is NC State, a small pitch, and an NC State team that loves the long throw, loves to manufacture goals through set piece on their own. It was an ugly game for long portions of that game. But yeah, if you're going to win trophies, you're going to have to grind some games out, and Virginia, professional in that match, especially with the man advantage, and found a way to come away with 3 points.
He said it wasn't the sexiest or exciting soccer. It was about game management. 3 points to take it either way. There's Ferguson on the corner flag. And we have a whistle just as the ball was being kicked. Goes to Virginia. Luke Burton looks perplexed with David Erbacher. David has officiated many great matches here at Klockner Stadium, veteran official. And now Moles, a goalkeeper who really excels with his feet. His distribution is fantastic. As you see here, putting it right on the button for Smith. See if Notre Dame can get a spell of possession here. Burton chests it down. Nice ball across from Shaw. An open space here for Rosine. Up front it goes. Wyatt Borso, top goal scorer this season, and goals in back-to-back games against Tech and Green Bay. Schrader cycles it back. Shaw lifts his head up. Finds Spicer. They want this guy on the ball a lot. Moving from more of the center of the park to an outside mid this year. Lewis. De Vicente right on his back, and Jesus does not allow him to move forward. Rosine, the Michigan Gatorade Player of the Year last year in high school, from Rochester Hills. Another free kick for Notre Dame. Virginia does not want to give too many of these up tonight. As KK Baffour will send it in. KK scored in the 74th minute against Green Bay, an insurance goal. Before he does that, we'll have a discussion inside the 18-yard box. I believe Nick Dang and Ian Shaw getting talked to here. Yeah, Ferguson hanging on the 18-yard box on the backside, goes in that direction. Ferguson goes up. That's headed out by Virginia and De Vicente. Corner kick for the Irish, their second on the evening.
That's a good ball in there from KK Baffler from a good distance, just to get that one in a dangerous enough spot that Virginia has to make a decision and has to challenge. So you see this one going short. Well, it looked like Notre Dame might go short. Look for Nolan Spicer to put this ball right on top of Casper Moles, see if he can find a green shirt.
He does exactly that. Moles gets out of the way. Loose change on the backside. Virginia's got it with Pop. He accelerates forward. Burton did nicely to kind of shepherd him towards the sideline, and Notre Dame regains possession. Nick Dang's got to win this ball. He does. And Parvu chests it down to Pop. 16 minutes to play in the opening half. Shot 7-1 in favor of Virginia. Each team with just one shot on target. Virginia's got the goal from Smith. Dang, oh, that is a dangerous pass back, but somehow it avoided the body of Borso. And Moles, no nonsense, clears it towards midfield. The Irish have committed the least amount of fouls of any team in the ACC, and there are 15 of them. Notre Dame coming in a tie for 6th in the ACC with North Carolina at 7 points. Those two teams have gained those 7 points in different ways. Notre Dame 2-1-1 in the ACC, and Carolina has 4 ties and a win. Chad Riley's team made the College Cup 2 years ago, also made it back in 2021. They've kind of had really good year, down year, really good year, and a down year in 2024, trying to bounce back here in 25. We see our first substitutions of the evening. Virginia making some alterations. Simmons out, Parvu out, and Beauvoir and Reese Miller are in the match for the first time this evening. Simmons, Notre Dame wanted a whistle, but that's just a big man making big plays. One of just 2 freshmen named to the midseason Herman Award watch list today, Simmons, alongside Grand Canyon's Junior Diouf. Gashi going through the wash. He was grabbed at by Burton to no avail. Here's Miller, really good in the attacking third. Dos Santos uses the toe, going to get it to Gashi. Virginia resets. Pella from distance, ablaze, too high. Irish making a couple of changes now. The freshman Burton exits. Will Schrader, who played 33 minutes off the bench against Green Bay, started tonight. He's now out. The Irish, a team that will go deep into their bench. They've picked up some depth just with maturation over the last year or two. Guys getting experience and now being asked to fill big-time roles as compared to rosters in the past. Pop goes up, wins the header over Jack Flanagan for Notre Dame. Leading returner in goals with 4 from a year ago. De Vicente, he's got the ball. And now he's removed from it by McDowd. All right, Patty, last dozen minutes or so, if you're an Irish supporter, what are you hoping to see here?
Well, I think you'd like to see a little bit more quality in the attacking half, really. And they've struggled to break Virginia down through the run of play. They've had a little bit more of the ball, but that ball has been in front of Virginia. And I think that George Galovach would be very happy in just seeing green shirts in front of them. You see Reese Miller going out of here. That's well done there from Alex Rosine, just to see that ball out. But, you know, one thing that Chad Riley would like to see a little bit more would be Nolan Spicer to find the balls in pockets of space. Notre Dame's at their best when Spicer can get on the ball, cutting inside and potentially get Wyatt Lewis, the right back, in around him. Start to get some more numbers forward, commit a few more green shirts, and see if you can start to put Virginia on the back foot just to close this half.
Yeah, Spicer, a two-time Ohio Gatorade Player of the Year in high school. He's got 13 assists in his career, 7 this season to lead Notre Dame. And a guy who Coach Riley has said, look, we're trying to find the best spots for him because he can impact the game in a myriad of ways. This ball does not find DeVicente. Instead, it's Lewis. Worms his way around Pella. Free kick for Notre Dame. Tomorrow morning, the ACC Huddle crew will be in Atlanta at Bobby Dodd Stadium to get you ready for another full day of football with a 2-hour pregame show. They'll have game previews along with expert analysis and featured stories on ACC Network and the all-new ESPN app. Another set piece here for Notre Dame and KK Bafor. Irish setting up inside the Virginia 18 as the back line moves back a little bit for the Hoos. Bafor and DeVicente, the matchup here. Bafor pretty quick on his feet, gets towards the byline. It's across near the net of Casper Moles, who had to climb the ladder to haul that in. Pella advancing, links up with Triton Beauvoir, who's really improved his hold-up play as his career has continued. Miller dances towards the byline. Corner kick, Hoos. Miller winning the 3rd corner for the Cavaliers this evening. Busy night so far for Rosine.
Well, busy night indeed, but the freshman has done really well down that right-hand side. He's had a few one-on-one duels, won the majority of them, and looked like a real bright spot on that back line for the Irish.
Dos Santos to take the corner. Rattling of the bleachers here at Klockner. Gashi. And Dos Santos once again uses the off right foot. It was a threatening ball towards Sebastian Pop. Kept in by the Hoos and Aaron Price. DeVicente bluffs. Back to the true freshman and Aaron Price, who's been complimented for his distribution all season long. Now DeVicente elevating it inside the 6, and Simmons goes up. Can't direct it on target. Goal kick Notre Dame with 9 minutes to play in the opening half.
That's another good sequence there from Virginia, able to pin Notre Dame deep, coming off that corner, recycle the ball, and ultimately find a chance from the head of Nick Simmons. But Virginia's done a really good job when they have gotten in the attacking third to stay there and to recycle it. If a chance gets broken up, to find a second one, and really has put pressure, consistent pressure on that Notre Dame back line all night.
All right, so now for Notre Dame, you have Spicer and Bafor both coming off, guys who are relied upon to be on the ball a lot. So, Patty, from the personnel you see out there for Notre Dame, like, who's got to step up on the ball right now in these final 8.5 minutes of the first?
Well, I think it's just about finding a rhythm as a team and less about an individual making, some sort of spectacular play. Notre Dame is at their best when they can knock it through possession. They can find pockets of space in between lines. They haven't done that a tremendous amount here in the first half, and so can you find the feet of some of your more creative players and start to get at Virginia?
And Chad Riley was really hoping to isolate Virginia's center backs using their 2 forwards up front, whether it's guys like Borso, Burton, Ren Sylvester off the bench, Stevie Dunphy. Haven't really done that too much this evening. McDowd. Gashi falls down to no whistle. DeVicente to Pella. Taken away, Flanagan. He speeds forward. Tries to put it into some space. Casper Moles to a knee. Now, in case you missed it earlier, Virginia on the board thanks to A.J. Smith.
Oh, no, it's a really good team goal here. It starts with a ball into Nick Simmons. Tremendous first touch and a really well-weighted slip in behind for Alex Parvu. Parvu with a perfect ball into the oncoming A.J. Smith, who does really well at the inside of that right foot. Tucks it past Blake Kelly. Nothing the goalkeeper could do. And a deserved 1-0 lead here for Virginia.
Now, Smith opened up his account on the season. The last home match against Milwaukee, back on the board tonight. Tyler Junior College transfer at 18 goals with the Apaches. Really good player at the junior college level. Led them to the national championship game, lost to Monroe in penalty kicks a couple of years ago, and a guy who they really coveted out of the portal and couldn't believe that he was available. AJ is now out of the game. Triton Beaufoy, the other forward, alongside Nick Simmons. Dang, Pella, and wide for Miller. And back to Nick Dang. A year ago, he was the Virginia leading goal scorer with 6. Always a big threat off set pieces. Gashi, so good with his back to goal as he just sheds McDowd. I remember speaking to Virginia's coaching staff, Patty, prior to the year, and they just said this midfield with Gashi and Pella, it is a coaching staff's dream because they've been in college so long and have great chemistry.
Well, and that was a midfield that they thought would have Brendan Lamb. I think what surprised this coaching staff has been how deep they are. And we talked a little bit about the insertion of Bakary Tanjagora, the minutes they've gotten from Sammy Ulue. And really, it's tough to find a weakness in that midfield three, no matter who it is for Virginia in the absence of Lamb.
Flanagan wants to go quick. Moles alert. And so important to make sure that Ren Sylvester off the bench did not have a golden chance at the top of the 18. Yeah, it feels like when you dissect this Virginia roster that so many guys have contributed. They have 30 guys on the roster, and maybe 1 or 2 haven't played all that much, but kind of everyone's had their moment so far this season, aside from maybe a couple of backup goalies as well. Miller in an inside position this time, tried to flick it on for Humberto Pella. Go out for a Notre Dame goal kick with 5 minutes to go in the first 45. Tonight starts first of 4 straight at home for Virginia. And George Gelnevach, total of 11 home matches for the Hoos this year, and they have really enjoyed the home field advantage. 5-0-1 here at Klockner this season. The only tie was to North Carolina towards the end of September. Tough place to play. And they also have faced adversity in some matches here at home this year. Heck, you go back to the Milwaukee match. They went down 1-0 in the 3rd minute off a penalty kick goal, but responded and won that match. Notre Dame with a chance here, 3-on-3 inside the box, and the Irish can't get it here. Ren Sylvester inches away from his 3rd goal on the year and equalizing this one at 1. Oh, tough.
Well, this is where Notre Dame can beat you. You can fall asleep and not see much from the Irish until they pick their times. It's a good ball across there to find an oncoming Ren Sylvester from Sebastian Green. But for the freshman, you got to do a better job there. Just 7 yards out the inside of the left foot, can't put it on frame. And that was a golden chance to equalize this game.
Is it about there for Sylvester putting his body in a different position there, or just simply he's got to put that goal on target?
No, I think he's in a good position. He's in a really good spot, and you want the left foot there to wrap around. So he just can't quite get his body around that ball, but that's a golden opportunity, one that the freshman will want back.
Body's pinballing around right now. Virginia usurps possession. Here's Pop. That was just the 2nd shot for Notre Dame of this half. So Virginia to calm things down here in the final moments of this first frame. Make sure to stick with us coming up at halftime. We'll talk some more ACC men's soccer, go around the conference, a couple other games this evening. And also get an update on women's soccer as both Virginia and Notre Dame on the women's side, top 2 programs in the nation. Both played last night. We'll show you some highlights of those matches as well. Dos Santos. Simmons barrels down a defender. Cleaned up here by Blake Kelly. He is a locomotive coming at you. Sylvester goes up, challenge from behind. Play continues. Flanagan stopped there by Dang. Green, Flanagan missed his target. Virginia's ball.
And Sebastian Green has been really additive since he's been inserted into this game. He's a guy we've seen primarily play at left back, but with how well Alex Rosina has played in this game, not surprised that Chad Riley has deployed him a bit higher, and he's been successful there. So now the question becomes, if you're Chad Riley at halftime, potentially do leave Green at that left midfield spot in the second half and deploy KK Bafor alongside Wyatt Borso to look for a little bit more pace. Certainly a look that we may see in the second half from the Fighting Irish.
And if you had the marker on the whiteboard, what would you do?
I would put Bafor up top next to Borso because, and we talked about it a little bit in trying to isolate those center backs for Virginia, KK Bafor is really pacey and he's tricky up front, and he can bring a different dynamic to this Irish team in trying to get in behind Virginia, something we really haven't seen now through 45 minutes.
David Erbacher stopping the clock here, making sure Virginia's not time wasting. DeVicente falls to Triton Beauvoir. Back heel DeVicente. Dos Santos avoids Flanagan and lifts it towards the top of the 6. Irish headed away. 40 seconds remaining, and the Irish just hoping they go into halftime down by only 1. DeVicente taking off the ball. There's Stevie Dunphy. Now on the ground, Ian Shaw playing a game of Twister. It ends up with the Irish here with 25 ticks to go.
Yeah, it's really tricky work there from Ian Shaw to get out of a little bit of a pickle with the nutmeg, but again, that Notre Dame midfield has really grown into this game and has looked better in this last 20 minutes in finding the ball and picking it off, trying to go forward.
Dos Santos has a glance, puts it into space for the speedy Beauvoir. Turned off that time from Ferguson, and the remaining couple of seconds come off the clock. Here in the opening 45 from Klockner Stadium, a good one so far. Virginia in front thanks to a goal from A.J. Smith in the 20th minute. Some signs, and this is about the time in the season, Patty, last year he really stepped up his game.
Well, and if they could get A.J. Smith going alongside the talented freshman Nick Simmons, it would mean a whole lot for this attacking unit for Virginia, one that's already been successful. But if you get 2 big 6'4" forwards bagging goals, it could mean championships in December.
With Patty Foss, national champ 2014. Corey Spector, delighted that you joined us. We get the second half going. Notre Dame in the green, Virginia in the navy. Here's KK Bafor back on the field. He fizzes one in towards the back post, and Casper Moles lets it roll out of play for a Virginia goal kick. So Bafor right now lining up in a left mid spot. They have Stevie Dunphy still in the match as one of the 2 strikers alongside Ren Sylvester. Patty, if you were in that Notre Dame locker room, what do you imagine was said?
Well, I think you have to continue to be patient because that's the identity of this Notre Dame team. They'll pick and choose their times to go forward, as you saw late in that half, finally finding a chance in behind. But, you know, one thing you would like to see, perhaps, if you're Chad Riley, is a higher line of confrontation from Notre Dame. You've seen that a bit here in the opening 75 seconds, but see if you can put Virginia under a little bit more pressure in that back 3, create some turnovers, and perhaps go a little quicker at that Virginia back line.
And here they go, kind of drawing out one of those center backs for Virginia, Nick Dang. That's something that Chad Riley wanted to see coming into this match. Nolan Spicer has returned, 22 in the green, 7 assists, tied for the ACC lead. Now Sylvester, who had the most golden chance the Irish had in the opening half. Recycle now Ferguson alongside his center back mate Diego Ochoa, the transfer from Boston College. Teammates with Marco Dos Santos for a couple of years. Dos Santos now on the Virginia side. He's currently on the bench in favor of Luke Burns, wearing the number 10 Navy shirt. Dang steps up, gets a foot on it, so he lofts it towards midfield. Burns tied up there with Ian Shaw. Arvu had the magnificent assist in the first half. Steers it over to Pella, and back now for Sebastian Pop. The Irish with just one true road win this season. That was against Pitt about a month ago. Notre Dame, though, hasn't played in a lot of road fixtures this season. In fact, this is just their third. They just had a 7-match homestand. They finished up with a 4-2 win over Green Bay on Tuesday. Smith applies the pressure. Nicholas Simmons, the other striker, currently getting a blow, with Triton Beauvoir remaining on. Pella, how on earth does he dangle around that pressure? Magnificent, and he gets it back from Burns. Feeds it out wide. Jesus De Vicente looks up, waits, now crosses in. Back post, Parvu awaits, looks, steps into one, across the 6, cleared aside by Notre Dame. Back to Gashi. Burns and Dang. And Parvu coming back from an offside position, didn't want to touch it, so it's a goal kick for Notre Dame. Breathtaking stuff in transition, Patty.
Well, more of the same, really, than we saw in the first half. And Virginia continue to stretch the field, provide a lot of width. Jesus De Vicente with some good composure out wide just to pick his head up and create chances really the same way that we saw. So more of the same and more positive stuff here to open the second half for Virginia.
We saw the note there a couple of moments ago about Virginia's success when leading at half. I'll add on to it, by the way. Cavaliers 6-0-1 when they score first this season. Not surprising with the way that Virginia plays, and honestly their best defense is with the ball. Sylvester and Dang. Ball to the Hoos. Dang missing the first 5 games this season. Strained adductor, a bit of a groin issue. He's played 90 minutes in 4 of his first 5 matches back. It will not be surprising to see Dang suit up in the MLS one day very soon. Down to Bafor, gliding his way into the attacking third. Here's Parvu using the shoulder a bit too aggressively, says referee David Erbacher. And a free kick for Notre Dame just outside the 18, and they are a team that is dangerous off set pieces.
Well, this is a really dangerous spot for a set piece. I don't love this call. We'll get another look back at it from David Erbacher. For me, that's just some physicality from a very physical player in Alex Parvu. Sure, it's a little bit of a hip check, but I think that's one that's Alex Parvu's a little bit hard done to be whistled for.
Maybe the elbow just got a little bit up there on Stevie Dunphy. Regardless, it ends up in Notre Dame's free kick. KK Bafor has taken plenty of these so far in the match to no conversion. 11 of the 21 goals for Notre Dame this season off set pieces. Bafor, the 2 hands up. He strikes it into the box. It is a threatening ball that is guided over the top by Schrader. Goal kick Hoos.
There's a quality service in there from KK Bafor. Schrader just a little bit overzealous, a step in front of that ball. But again, you can see how dangerous Notre Dame is on these set pieces with the quality of service into the box. As you get a look back there, a nodding header from Schrader and can't quite fit that one on frame.
Patty, you got a really good look at this Virginia team. You had the match on Sunday, and they had to defend a lot of set pieces, a lot of long throws from NC State. What's key for the Cavaliers in defending those set pieces and long throws?
It's really a concentration game, especially in matches like the one against NC State where they were under pressure time and again from long throw after long throw. And so to keep your concentration for 90 minutes time and again, not to allow a goal off those was really impressive and shows just the veteran presence of this Virginia team.
And say NC State maybe had 15 long throws in that match, and that's part of their DNA. For UVA to go 15 for 15 essentially defending those is pretty impressive.
Well, no question, and those long throws, they're more dangerous, in my opinion, than even a corner kick because the angle of trajectory from a throw, and it's a much flatter ball. And the second ball, when the initial header happens and the second ball bounces down in the box, you have to be very concentrated, very on top of your game, not to allow sort of a little bit of a garbage chance in the box.
And coaching staff gave a lot of credit to Casper Moles and his communication coming back from concussion protocol. Really on the same page as his back three and his other defenders. Irish find some space. Their captain, Wyatt Lewis. Outside back with Rosine. Bafor now plugging in the middle. Rosine lifts his head up. Sends it back to Schrader in his second game coming back since injury. Hadn't played since the Louisville match on the 19th of September. Missed 4 straight. Lewis, game of catch now with Ferguson. Shaw and Rosine. Parvu has 2 players to deal with here as Rosine bursts inside the 18. De Vicente clears it out. This is the first long stretch in possession for the Irish really in this match.
Well, you can see they're getting more players in more forward positions, looking a lot more dangerous to start the half.
Rosine, good ball in. Calmly goes out of play. Goal kick for the Cavaliers.
And you see KK Bafor there, just tucked inside a bit, allowing Rosine to get forward on that left-hand side from that wide back position. That is not something we saw in the first 45. And as you know, that's when Notre Dame is at their best, when they can get overloads in wide areas and they can start to push Virginia back, get balls into the box and create chances.
Just over 9 minutes into this second half. Triton Beauvois galloping after it. He's onto the ball. He's one-on-one here with Diego Ochoa. Beauvois sneaks his way around and tackled off the ball nicely by Schrader. Corner kick, Virginia, the Cavaliers' 4th on the night.
And Triton Beauvois does well just to dance down that left-hand side, but it's a really good recovery in the end from Will Schrader. A well-timed challenge in the box, not to allow a chance for Beauvois.
Triton, a veteran with this program, senior from Boston. 4 goals in his career, an ACL injury a couple of years back, returned a year ago. Consummate professional, whether he's been a starter or off the bench. Here's De Vicente, a 2v1 advantage on that far side. Gashi, dangerous ball in for Pella. Back out towards Luke Burns, who has scored this season for Virginia. Now Aaron Price. Gashi whacks it in towards the D. Ochoa puts it into space. First onto the ball here, Umberto Pella. Senior from Milan, back to Dang. And Burns. Parvu. Again, getting a foot on it there is Schrader. Deep throw in for the Hoos. Here's Nick Dang to take the throw. 6'2", $180. Wants to make sure that the ball is nice and dry. Temperature in the mid-50s. Dang steps into one. Smith, out of play. Here's Blake Kelly. Tied his season high with 7 saves against the Phoenix on Tuesday. Gave up a bit of a soft goal in the final couple of minutes of that match, but the result was well in hand for Notre Dame at that point. Chad Riley said he didn't really want to put him in during his freshman year, kind of out of necessity. They did. He's a busy guy, anthropology, pre-med major. A lot to think about, but he made 12 starts as a freshman and has really built up his play now in his sophomore year. All right, the Irish advancing forward. Sylvester on the outside. Rosine, Nick Dang makes a swift and necessary tackle.
Well, now we've seen 2 or 3 times in Alex Rosine bombing up that left-hand side from his left back position, looking more dynamic in attack. Our Notre Dame, when they can get numbers forward in wide areas and try to get service into the box. Now, Very dangerous on the corner kick, as we've noted, is Notre Dame. Look for this service directly into that 6-yard box. Try to get a lot of bodies in and around Casper Bowles and make it really tough on the grad student goalkeeper.
Ren Sylvester, one of their taller guys up front. He's at 6'1". A.J. Smith is the guy guarding him right now. Mitch Ferguson to take the corner, keeps it low on the ground, flicked in. Back out for Bafor, fakes right, goes left. Ferguson loops it in, takes a bounce. Hella did a very nice job shielding off Alex Rosine for a Virginia goal kick. Well, right now for Notre Dame, Stevie Dunphy is in the match. He's a sophomore forward from California. His dad, Steven, a 2-time All-American, a 3-time ACC champ in the decathlon at Virginia back in the 90s. How about that, Patty?
Well, I'll tell you what, if nothing else, for 30 years now, the strength and conditioning squad at Virginia has been fantastic, because that is an athlete just like the son Stevie is showing up top for the Irish today.
A lot of protein shakes, huh?
Protein something.
Good for the Dunphy family. Stevie also has 3 sisters who have played collegiate soccer. Sonny at UCLA, and then Sierra and Sadie at Loyola Marymount. You understand that the athleticism did not fall far from the tree. Irish have been better here in the second half, but a giveaway in the midfield from Shaw. Virginia set to make at least a trio of substitutions at the next whistle, including Nicholas Simmons on the midseason Herman Award watch list as of this afternoon. One of 2 freshmen in the entire country, 2 of the 31 named. Long ball towards Dang. He heads it up. Tracking back DeVicente. Excellent hustle there. Gashi. And Luke Burns motors into the attacking third. Burns continues. Drop off. Smith. Shot. I think it may have hit the bar. If not the knee of Kelly. Regardless, it's a corner kick for the Hoos.
Well, it's another good pocket of space that's exposed from Luke Burns. He does really well gathering this ball in midfield and then just slipping one pass there for A.J. Smith. Smith does really well just to put that ball in frame and force Blake Kelly to put it out of bounds for another UVA corner.
So the left foot of Kelly denying Smith a brace. David Erbacher blows his whistle as we get ready for this corner kick, making sure again the Hoos not salting off time. Towards the near post, not a great delivery that time from DeVicente, and KK Bafor clears it out. Harvu continues to back up. Have to make a quick decision there on the oncoming Lewis. That tackle fires up the Notre Dame sideline. Wyatt Lewis, the captain, trying to inject some life into his Irish squad. All right, here come the changes for Virginia. Marco Dos Santos returns in addition to Nicholas Simmons. Scored in the 20th minute against NC State, the only tally for the Hoos in their 1-0 victory over the Wolfpack. Jamaican youth national team experience. A.J. Smith comes off the field for the Hoos. Nicely done from A.J. this evening.
And A.J. Smith has really grown into this season, and you're right, he's had a good night. He's been in really good spots. He's been in front of the goal and, of course, put one in the back of the net, but really made Notre Dame think about where he is at all times on the pitch and allowing to open up some space for others in midfield.
Bowles, a one-touch pass. Dang bypassing Parvo, but he mishit on the delivery try for Beauvoir. Wyatt Borso, the leading goal scorer for Notre Dame, is up on his feet and likely to check in soon with Luke Burton. So Coach Riley set to make a couple of changes up front. No re-entry in college soccer from half to half. Rosine finding the head of Pop instead. Dos Santos spinning around, and a hard challenge there from Rosine draws a whistle and a stoppage of the clock. And Marco Dos Santos writhing in pain as he grabs onto his ankles.
Rosine's had a really good night, and actually that's a pretty well-timed challenge. The issue with it, though, is he leaves his feet, and there's a little bit of a trailing right leg there. For me, I'm okay with the foul, although he does get a lot of the ball there right in front of the Virginia bench.
Kind of in an awkward spot there, right? Because he's not expecting that Maradona move right on the sideline, right?
Yeah, potentially, but again, he doesn't time it poorly. It's just that he goes really with 2 feet, and Chad Rowley certainly making it. Well, it looks like he might be okay with it.
A respectful conversation, right? Really enjoyed our chat with Coach Riley the other day. Played at Notre Dame, the early 2000s as a midfielder under the legendary Bobby Clark. It's an Irish program that won a national championship back in 2013. Virginia's got 7 stars on the crest themselves. Dang puts it right in between Harvu and Gashi. Some miscommunication there. Notre Dame's got the ball back here with Rosine. We have not seen a card issued tonight, which is a bit different than Virginia's last match in Raleigh on Sunday, when there were 11 combined yellow cards handed out, in addition to the red card for NC State. David Erbacher's had nice control of this match, wouldn't you say, Patty?
Yeah, I think he's done a good job. And listen, these are 2 teams that love to play through possession. They play a really attractive brand of soccer, and there hasn't been a ton of physicality in the game, so making his job a little bit easier, though. You're right, David Erbacher has had a nice night.
The clock stopped here, 28:01. They've just pushed it down to 27:21. Okay. So probably had a clock error there in the last minute or so. Everything's figured out thanks to our 4th official this evening, David McCune, and off we go. Lewis goes long for the substitute Luke Burton back in the match. 1v1 against Sebastian Pop. Burton goes down, no whistle, may have slipped. And now it's Pella scanning his options. De Vicente lifting it into space. There's Schrader playing his first match with big minutes since the injury. Borso on the right foot, tries to get around Dang. Nick gets a foot in there, ball remains loose, it ping-pongs around and Dang clears. Nick Simmons, can he hold it up here? No, it's Ferguson on the takeaway. Alex Rosine. KK Bafor. Harvu shadows him. Rosine, the freshman from Michigan. Shaw. Bafor off Dang. Irish with another corner kick. Notre Dame now with 4 on the evening.
Well, and Bafor's been really active here in the opening 19 minutes of this second half, popping up in a little bit more of a central position than the places we saw him in the first half. That's allowed for Rosine to get around on that left-hand side. They've been a lot more active on the offensive side of the ball, have Notre Dame, and really push Virginia back for some of the portions of this second half.
Ferguson to take the in-swinger. A lot of Irish stacked up on the near side post. Moles with a slap away. Gashi got the head on it. Now it's Lewis forcing it back inside the 18, and Moles goes up and claims, and he wants to work quickly. Nicholas Simmons hustling after it. Ian Shaw the first on it. Off Dos Santos. Notre Dame throw. Temperature maybe picking up a bit in this match. Dang stepping up. Simmons bobbing and weaving, and he falls down, and a foul here from Bafor, and a yellow card has come out immediately from David Erbacher, who says none more.
Well, that's a little bit of frustration there from the senior KK Bafor. We saw a little bit of a tussle there in the Virginia box, and this one is really laid on Nick Simmons and deservedly heads into the book.
Two-handed shove there from Bafor. Guy at 5'8", taking down the 6'4" striker. Gashi, that's a bad pass. Bafor, and he fell down. David Erbacher says continue on, which really displeases Notre Dame's sideline. Field opening up a little bit here as we continue on this second half. Pella trying to ward off a couple of members of the Irish. No dice. Notre Dame ball. Here's their playmaker and Spicer. Lewis veering around multiple Cavaliers and then loses it. Neither team with a good stretch of possession here in the last couple of minutes. What have you made here of kind of the change in what this match looks like over the last 10 to 15?
Well, there's been a different energy from Notre Dame here in the second half. They've done really well in trying to pin Virginia back and not allow Cavaliers to play out through possession at times. Now, with that, though, it's become a little bit frenetic in the last 5 minutes, and I don't think that style of play really is one that you would like to see if you're Chad Riley for the final 23 minutes.
Here's Parvu attracting two Irish. Rosine can't keep it in. Virginia's 6th corner of the night. All right, let's go down the list here, Patty. 6'4" Simmons, 6'3" Pop, 6'4" Aaron Price. A bevy of options here for Marco Dos Santos. But instead he'll go short. Why not, right? Gashi back to Dos Santos. Virginia retains. Notre Dame clears off the left boot of Shaw. Bafor going nose to nose there with Gashi, and those two share a couple of words and a bright white smile there from KK. Bafor has a tremendous memory here at Klockner Stadium. A few years back, scoring the game-winning goal with just a few seconds left off a counter following a corner kick. Something to keep in mind as we move on here. Simmons turns into space, avoids the challenge of Burton. Gashi to Pella, who has to really hustle after this ball to get it. He does not. Lewis. And now for Bafor. Parvu defends. Notre Dame stays onside. It's Wyatt Borso. Goals in back-to-back games for Wyatt. Borso challenged by 3 Cavaliers. Chance of handball from the Notre Dame sideline. We move on. We'll see if David Erbacher maybe goes back to take a look. That goes out. And Erbacher makes no move towards the video monitor. Rosine and Bafor. They'll bounce in for Casper Moles. All right, here's another look at that last exchange inside the box or close to it.
You see that one pop up and certainly hits the right arm of Alex Parvu, but not inside the box, and so I'm not sure it's not going to be reviewable because it would not be a penalty kick.
Correct. So good adjudicating from the officials and the communication, I'm sure, from the 4th official as well, David McCune. Dang on a couple of hops now for Beauvoir. Not a big guy, Triton, but he holds up his defender very nicely. A neat play to Gashi. Back to Beauvoir. Continues inside the box. And you can hear how Virginia's sideline feels about it. Dang goes down to no whistle. Ball returns to Sebastian Pop, and now David Erbacher makes that rectangular motion with his fingers, and he will go to the monitor to take another look.
And I think Triton Beauvoir may have a good shout here for a penalty kick. Listen, regardless of what Erbacher decides, that's a really fantastic sequence of play from Beauvoir in not only the initial play to fend off a defender, play a 1-2 here, and then good feet just to cut one inside here. Listen, it's a tweener for me, but Diego Ochoa goes to the ground, and I'm not sure he gets a ton of the ball with this challenge here. Certainly comes through on Beauvoir. There's a touch on the ball. It's 50-50 for me. I don't think you're going to see this penalty given, though, Corey.
So let me ask you this, Patty. If Diego Ochoa just gets a piece of that ball initially, does that kind of eliminate anything after that, or not necessarily?
Well, I think so, and I think that's the decision that Urbacher is going to make here. It doesn't get enough of the ball to make the contact with Beauvoir a non-factor. Again, it's not a ton. It's not a ton of the ball, but I do think it's enough that I'm not sure that this will be given in a 1-0 game on the road.
All right, so this is a very important decision here for David Urbacher. Would potentially give the Cavaliers a chance for a 2-0 lead. Now, Virginia has only had one penalty kick this entire season. That was Humberto Pella in the last home match last week against Milwaukee. He missed. And we had a nice discussion with Adam Perrin, the associate head coach, a couple of days ago about who might take the penalty if we have another situation like that. It might not be Pella, it might be someone else. But let's get another look.
I still think, Corey, he just gets just enough of the ball, and it's probably not a penalty for me, but it is very, very close. And that's likely why, by the way, that's likely why it's taking David Urbacher so long to make a decision here, because it is such a tight call.
No penalty, gets a touch on the ball.
Okay, so a pretty simple explanation from Urbacher. Because Ochoa got a piece of the ball, that nullifies any chance that Virginia has at a PK, and so we remain in a 1-0 score line, and play continues on in midfield. I thought overall, Patty, that was handled well, right? They didn't call a penalty on the field. They waited for play to continue on. Okay, we have the chance to take a look. They did. They saw enough to decide, we're not going to add one here.
Yeah, I think it's right, and I think it's the correct decision in the end. It was just the slightest of touches from Diego Ochoa, but he did get the ball initially and then come through the body of Triton Beauvoir. So very comfortable for me with a no penalty there. The only thing I would say is, can we speed it up a little bit? This is a very long break in a game that has had a good pace to it. Both teams have really brought a lot of energy, and now it's almost a 4 or 5 minute delay just to look at and confirm a call that was made on the field.
Do you have any Friday night 9:15 p.m. plans you need to get to? All right, so the Who's have the ball. We'll see another change at the next whistle. Sami Ulue is at the table right now as Parvu moves into the attacking third. Dipping the shoulders, he waits, his cross turned off that time from the freshman outside Rosine. Now from distance, that one knuckling in. And Albin Gashi done, excuse me. That's not Gashi, that is, or yes, it is Gashi, my apologies. Stop there from Blake Kelly.
Well, and again, it gets into a good wide area here from Parvu. Gashi does well to pick his head up and hit one. Looks like it just takes ever so slightly a deflection. Blake Kelly does well just to reset his body here and make the save in the end.
Goes right off the back of Ian Shaw, changing the trajectory of that shot, and really nicely done from Kelly. Gashi linking up here. It's Nick Deng. Peeks and finds Triton Beauvoir, lifting it over the defender. Parvu taking a couple of jabs there from KK Bafor. He's already on a yellow card tonight. By the way, on the Virginia side, Marco Dos Santos, 4 yellow cards this year, something to keep in mind. Parvu back in towards the 6. And Ochoa, the man in question a couple of minutes ago, clears it out.
Well, the 4 yellow cards is a good point you make, Corey, because that 5 yellow cards of course, you'll have to sit a match, a one-game suspension. Begs the question, with a couple non-conference games here coming up with UNCG and Denver, two very good teams, by the way, coming to Charlottesville, though. This might not be the worst time to take that 5th yellow card if you're Marco Dos Santos.
We see Sammy Ulue come into the match, and here goes Beauvoir. Ulue scored a couple of goals this season against Wake and Milwaukee. Parvu with a quartet of Irish around him. Gashi back to Deng. Is that something that players intentionally do when they're on 4? Do they take a 5th knowing who the next opponent might be?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, you certainly could, but that would be a first for me.
Okay. We've seen coaches throughout the country sometimes schedule a late match against a non-Division I, maybe reset the card situation for some members of their team. Shaw intercepted. Aaron Price and Gashi. Tried to squeeze one in there, and McDowd said no. Into space it goes towards Borso. Sebastian Pop in the perfect place. 17 minutes to go. Foul on Notre Dame. Another restart here for the Hoos. The all-new ACC PM airs Monday through Thursday from 6 to 7 Eastern and Friday from 5 to 7 Eastern for a special 2-hour football-focused edition hosted by our good friend Kelsey Riggs-Cuff on ACC Network and the all-new ESPN app. Bafor right off the chest of Deng. Here's Simmons, 5 goals this season. Simmons from distance, a howitzer! Don't blink, folks. He could beat you that quickly.
Well, that's a guy with a lot of confidence there. Nick Simmons just running at full speed and ripping one from 22 yards. But you saw Trayton Beauvoir give him a look back like, hey, man, maybe slip the ball in behind it, and a better chance might have been at Beauvoir's feet.
Parvu. Samuel Lue, the freshman from the Ivory Coast. Played his high school ball in New York. Part of the Right to Dream Academy. Dos Santos sneaking inside the 18. Dos Santos shoots just wide. A fantastic opportunity to double it up for the Hoos. Doesn't go for Marco.
Well, it's a good run in behind here from Marco Dos Santos. Again, it's Simmons with a well-weighted ball in behind for Dos Santos. In the end, Diego Ochoa, the former Boston College teammate of Dos Santos, does just enough to knock him off his stride and push that one wide, but another really good chance for Virginia.
Hey, Patty, we've talked about this a couple of times this year when we've had Virginia matches. Nicholas Simmons, a striker, when he drops back into more of a midfielder position, what element does that provide Virginia?
Well, it's not quite into the midfield fully, but what he does really well is he can be that false nine at times, in that he just slides in front of the back line of the opponent. And because he's such a big guy with such good feet and vision and feel for the game, he provides almost a second attacking midfielder. And that's kind of what you saw there between he and Dos Santos. Simmons actually dropping deeper, allowing Dos Santos to make a run out of midfield, changing the personnel and making it really difficult for that back line of Notre Dame to pick guys up on the run.
He is not afraid to make his impact on the match as a true freshman. Pop. Dos Santos and Bafor in a combat here. I believe that last touch is Dos Santos. Yes, that is the call. Irish throw. Notre Dame stuck on 5 shots in this match. Virginia with 13, only 1 shot on target for the Irish. And that was from KK Bafor. Unfamiliar territory here for Notre Dame, just their 3rd road match of the season. Got the win over Pitt September the 12th. Tied Michigan early in the year. Ulue. Pella snaking onto his right foot. Simmons turnaround, took a deflection, ends up right onto the chest of Kelly.
It's a good turn there from Simmons and allows his hips to swing around and put this one on frame and test Kelly. Unfortunately for the freshman, it ends up directly at that sophomore goalkeeper. But again, Nick Simmons growing into this game and the most dangerous player on the pitch right now.
I'm just so impressed with how assertive he is. As Parvu peels away with it, Ulue to Simmons. Scans and finds an option left. DeVicente, Simmons wants it back. It's in his direction, and Lewis pops it out.
Well, Virginia with that 1-goal lead showing no signs of dropping in and just hanging on. They're going at Notre Dame, trying to find a second and salt this game away with just 12 to play.
Nice crowd here on this Friday night from Klockner. Yearning for a second goal. Gashi goes near the target. Punched out by Kelly. Ulue. DeVicente right behind him. Aaron Price elevating it. And it goes beyond the byline. And not exactly sure what Nick Dang is doing there as the ball was out by about 5 yards. Goal kick for Notre Dame. Nick puts his everything into every match. We've seen that now for the last couple of years coming over from Lipscomb. 11.5 to play. Irish love to go direct. Luke Burton is puzzled right now because he thought that there was a foul by Virginia, but none given. George Gelnovich, 10 wins shy of 400 in his esteemed Cavaliers coaching career. Pretty incredible, Patty, the longevity and the success that he's had.
Well, between George Gelnovich and Bruce Arena before him, this is a program that's only had 2 coaches in 47 years, and that consistency just shows year in and year out how competitive his squads are.
For this program to put up a 8th national championship banner, what's going to be required of this team? In essence, like, what's the question mark for this program as they continue to build on towards November?
Well, I think that's probably the scariest thing to think about for most of the country, the conference, and the nation, as you see one of the many national championship pillars here at Klockner Stadium. But I'm not sure that this is a Virginia team that has a lot of weak points. I mean, it's got a great back line, a veteran back line, a big physical back line. They've got a striker who can score goals in Nick Simmons. Certainly A.J. Smith would throw his hat in the ring as you see a good ball here.
Borso. Burton. Bafor goes down inside the area. And now Gashi into space for the speedy Ulue. It banks off of him following the collision with Ochoa. Back to Notre Dame. It is a really well-constructed roster for Virginia as Ulue goes down. It's a free kick for the Hoos. All right, so if you're just joining us here, we have 1 goal on the board. That was way back in the 20th minute. A.J. Smith, his 2nd on the year.
Oh, it was a fantastic team goal. Good ball in here to Nick Simmons. Fantastic first touch. Even better slip in behind for an oncoming Alex Parvu, who puts one across on a platter for A.J. Smith. He makes no mistake inside the 6-yard box, and one of the better team goals you'll see all year.
Smith now with 4 goals as a member of the Cavaliers. They have tried to extract a level of aggression out of him, and he made a beeline towards that back post. And that delivery from Parvu was perfection. Virginia trying to make that stand. The Hoos have not been beaten since August 28th. A match against George Mason. They went down to 10 men in that match against the Patriots. A record crowd in Fairfax. It's like their Super Bowl. The only match Virginia has fallen in. Dos Santos off the left foot of Ulue, out of play. Virginia started the season, preseason, as the number 17 team in the land. Up to number 11. Then the loss to Mason made them unranked for the next 3 weeks. Got back to number 12, down to 16 after the tie to North Carolina. Then the big victory over NC State, propelling them inside the top 10. Wyatt Borso trying to change the result in this match. Flanagan is back on. Dos Santos with the ball. Simmons, and we're going to bring it back. David Erbacher blows the whistle.
You gotta put it on you.
Okay.
Comes back around this way.
Free kick now for Notre Dame. All right, Patty, how do the Irish find something here in the last 7 minutes? What do they need to do?
Well, I think you got to throw some more numbers forward. It's time if you're Chad Riley, and they've been very organized as Notre Dame, and obviously are 1 goal down, still very much in this game. But you have to start to take some more risks. See if you can insert some more numbers forward, potentially another forward, play a little bit more direct, and start to try to manufacture a goal and perhaps steal some points here on the road.
It's been a season of maturation for this Notre Dame team. They lost their leading goal scorer from a year ago, Matthew Rue, the offensive player of the year in the ACC. And I feel like they've gotten better and better as the year has continued. They've tried to have a process-oriented mindset. That's not a team that necessarily dips into the transfer portal all that often. They try to build from within. It's kind of a big-time reason as to why they've kind of had a really good season and then an off-season after that as they lose some guys via graduation. They have the belief, they have the guys in the building that can get it done. Reese Miller comes into the match for Virginia. Alex Parvu comes out. A nice evening for Alex. Another long throw, Wyatt Borso. Flicked on, Simmons gets ahead on it. Baffour directs it back in. Flanagan to Ochoa. Center back moving forward. Off Virginia center back in Sebastian Pop. Corner kick for the Irish. Notre Dame now with 5. All but 2 are forward for Notre Dame. Wyatt Lewis and the goalkeeper Blake Kelly are back. Mitch Ferguson to take the corner here as we approach 6 minutes to play. Towards the back post. Moles punches it away. And Alvin Gashi directs it outside the 18. Lifted back in by Shaw. Ochoa finds an open teammate. Flicked on. Flanagan. He's onside. And Virginia gets it out of the 6. Gashi out of the 18. Moans and groans from the Virginia fan base. Getting a bit impatient here. That goes out off Reese Miller. Throw in for Notre Dame. The Blues have a lot of practice defending against this type of tactic. A lot against NC State the other night. Borso, a strong throw. Dang gets around, turns it over. Baffour, Borso, back post. Freshman left back on the opposite side, Rosine. Ferguson. That's a juicy ball in. Aaron Price heads it out. 5 minutes to go. 1-0 game, Virginia in front. Here's Baffour on an island with Dos Santos. KK towards the byline. His cross, and it's a goal! It is a beauty, and it's Flanagan with his first of the year! A game-tying goal in the 86th.
Well, the bright spot for this Notre Dame team all second half has been KK Baffour. He's gotten in really good spots all night long. This time, he gets isolated on that left wing. He goes directly at Marco Dos Santos, a bit out of position, rolls into that left foot, cuts one back, and that is a fantastic first-time finish to beat Casper Moles in the front post and equalize this game.
Boy, has KK Baffour just been so dynamic in this match. And for Jack Flanagan, a guy they have been waiting for to score, had 4 goals in his sophomore season last year, did not have one until tonight in match number 13 for the Irish, and he levels this one with just under 5 minutes to go.
And that is such a high-quality finish from Jack Flanagan. A really tough ball to skip up and hit first time, and he does it so well in beating Casper Moles at that front post.
All right, assuming Notre Dame is the team that's okay getting out of here with a point, and assuming Virginia is the team that's not content with 1, what do you expect to see here in the last 4.5 minutes?
Well, I think you're correct in that take that Virginia will feel hard done if this game finishes 1-1. They will push for that second goal and a winner here, but you got to stay true to who you are, and that's getting the ball in wide areas, moving forward, and getting Reese Miller in the attack here.
Dos Santos to Miller, off the bench, ready to go, falls down, the flag is up on the near side. It's a free kick for Virginia, right outside the 18.
It's a good overload here for Reese Miller. He does well to put his body in between himself and the ball. It's a little bit overzealous there from Rosine, and a good decision from David Erbacher to blow the whistle. This is a tricky little spot, though, for Virginia to have a free kick, because there's not a lot of space to get a ball up and down. You almost want to get a player across the front of the goal, see if you can hit one hard on the ground and get a deflection.
Would you prefer the in-swinger or the out-swinger here?
For sure, the in-swinger.
Okay. And that would be provided from Dos Santos. Instead, the touch. Gashi lifting in on the outs. Cleared aside. Ulue. Marco Dos Santos. His cross is good. Ochoa in the way. Dos Santos gets it back. Headed out. That's McDowd. De Vicente pops it back up. McDang involved in a big collision there. Play continues now with De Vicente. 3 minutes to go here in the second half. A.J. Smith, the goal in the 20th minute. The equalizer from Flanagan in the 86th. A tie for Virginia puts them in a tie for first place with Stanford. Cardinal would have a game in hand going into their match tomorrow as they host Pitt. Now we have a foul in midfield. Virginia wants a card.
Well, I think what Virginia actually wants was the advantage call there, because Reese Miller had boatloads of space on the right-hand side, and that's where they want to feed. That's where they want to create chances is through Miller's feet.
Gashi goes horizontally off the restart. De Vicente to Dang. Good secondary ball towards the 6. Miller to Pella. Umberto looks up. It's now in the possession of Aaron Price as we approach 2 minutes to go. Notre Dame with a tie would move into a tie for 5th. SMU with 8 points. Ulue. Albin Gashi steers it back for Aaron Price, who's been lauded for his playmaking from the back. Free kick Notre Dame. McDowd went airborne and helicoptered down. Anytime you come into Klockner Stadium against a top 10 Virginia and come out with a deadlock, you've done your job.
Well done your job and more. I mean, listen, credit to Notre Dame. This is who they have been all season long. Very organized, picked their times to go forward, and found a goal when at times you didn't think they would. Now, Virginia will feel hard done if this game finishes 1-1, because they have been the better team for long periods of the game and likely should have put more than one in the back of the net.
Maybe 1 or 2 more looks. Dos Santos worming his way towards the 18. Back out now, Ulue. 40 seconds to go. Sammy taking off the ball. KK Bathorn going down that time for Notre Dame is Borso. Free kick for the Irish, who will slowly make their way towards the ball. This will be a tough one for UVA to swallow. Who's coming off back-to-back wins over Milwaukee and then number 2 NC State. 5-0-1 at home this season, but it'll be another tie for Virginia as we have a free kick here for the Hoos, but the clock will continue to run and the 90 is done here from Klockner Stadium. A first half goal from A.J. Smith, wiped out by Jack Flanagan in the 86th. A 1-1 draw between Notre Dame and number 8 Virginia as tempers flare a bit.